Low set up here as well. Doxy just playing on the edge towards the doorway there. You've got Cyrax in position. If he runs in, baited out by the shots, you should get a quick connection off with the DBS, take him down from the sidelines. It is only 3 of them left, of course, with Henry falling early. Oh, the decision-making on it! He had the timing for so long. Doxy gets in, not just with one, but a second follow-up supported by the squad, and that's how they shut them down.
God. I mean, fair play to him, right? He got the hit reg off.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't do enough damage. I think the annoying thing for him is that Doxy just goes in with such careless abandon that it's almost hard to hit the shot on him. Yeah, for AX going down there does feel pretty rough, but for Nongshim Red Force, definitely a positive sign for them. Getting ahead with all 4 players up. Power loses 2 as they move up easy. Frontliner, nade in hand, always has been touted as one of the better players on that team when it comes to those nades. Yeah, this was silly, in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of emotion.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much it means to them. And that is a brutal start. One, you've got to sit there and just really absorb the atmosphere of the other teams now. No influence you can have on this lobby.
Dude, it also causes problem for you into the future because now you're kind of considering whether you should keep going back to Paradise Resort.
True.
All right, it sets a precedent for Yangon Galacticos. Power Al-Haji's still down. Managed to get 2 elims this game. I don't know how far he is out from this compound. We'll see if they can get him back up again, but I think it's highly unlikely. Vision down to 2. Marcelo and Volt still up. Volt had some pretty good success, I would say, in the group stage. I think he was carrying the team quite a few times. See what he's able to do here. What? There is so much space. The Northwest Island, it's so crazy. I mean, 4 thrives in hard tin. You know, Thunder Talks Camp Alpha, Alter Ego, top side of the mountain. Teams should know that there is so many locations. I don't know why no one went to any of these spots either. I wonder if they just assumed that they would just be running into hot drops, and it's just hilarious to me that we instead get hot drops on Ruins as well as Paris Resort. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. It's already looking like a bit of a scrappy one to kick us off here, going into the first day of survival stage. It's uncomfortable as well for Power, right? You had that third party set up towards the ridge side there with Hora getting the vision down, so they were able to take the connection shot off onto Al-Haji. And you're just trapped, feeling like sitting ducks, especially from the angles they've got if you try and peek out into it. Okay, E-Arena on our screens here, though. Already claimed that 1 elim to start things off. Could be a good setup from Loxy from the sideline. Molly in through the door. Nades responding on top of it as well. Spam on the smoke to see if he can get a connection. Toxic has that nade towards the backside. You've got a bit of a reposition from Joker there. He was the man that took a big blow onto Falcons to knock one player early, and he's still building. Good close quarters combat, quick reposition, find himself some cover. Wanted to convert onto the knock, but instantly bitten back upon by Silas.
This is the survival stage. Wow, that could have been a big amount of damage going through. Moment has to back off the building. Nasty bounce on that one will cause it to jump back, but the shots coming through from Team Falcons now. Finally made that decision to cross the bridge. Took them a while, and it required E-Arena to make that move first. But for Regnum Kaya now, they need to speed up this fight.
They've got to clean them out, remove Mormon from the position, so they've actually got some backline cover with that roam up from Falcons. You're going into his domain though. DBS, nice moves to at least try and bait him off with the peek from the side, but Mormon's ready for the first.
While down, so just 2 players there for Regnum Kaya. Not ideal whatsoever. Not an easy circle to play for Regnum Kaya. But getting in here on this engagement, I think for Loxy, he's getting caught on the backside here. No information. It was a bit of a weird one with the 1-3 split going on. And the timing's just a bit off. It's a good Molotov actually from Joker as well, because it prevents Loxy from going back in that building, forces him to take that 1v1, and he's got the lip to play around with. You just wonder if the comm didn't come through fast enough for the rest of the team to react. Now just Silas, Poshpik left alive. They've got no clue where these bullets are coming from either, scanning the horizon.
In the elim feed as well, it's that delayed fight that was going on between Vision and Power. trapped in the compound for quite some time. No Fit was the one just guarding, watching over the top if they did peek out, but intermittent skirmish just between the two teams. No room for him to snatch away some points from that yet. And this has really been starved out as well. Obviously just that duo left, not the ideal start. A team that really could go so far here as well. You know, one of the horses that you were expecting to at least be able to push through, make it into that final race. Talented squad. Vision do finally fall though, taken out.
Yeah, Alteki, very shiny coat on that one coming off the back of PMGO. And to be honest, I put a lot of stock in that team.
Yeah.
I put a lot of stock in Regnum Kaya. I do think they can go far. They get pitched out because it is such a fierce battle for the top on day 3 of group stages. I think it was 2 points. 2 points to start between
really
them
close,
making
yeah.
it in. I think they ended up on 9th place there. So Regnum Kaya, I still think they can go far here as a team. Not a great start though over on Sandhawk. They do have technically one of the strongest locations right now. But do they really have it, or are they just living in E-Arena's territory?
Might actually get the Falcons move up onto them as well. They've been biding their time for a while here. Meanwhile, we join the action with Alpha 7. Of course, defending champions of the trophy and the title from last year, but a very different look with how they've seen out on the battleground. Revo with the first contact, good shots over at least. Able to keep himself behind cover.
Not sure what Doc C's doing here, just kind of open themselves up for Revo to take any shots that he would like. Over the top, will hit hard. Doc C will go down. That's a heavy blow to take. Second one goes through, almost was on target, a little bit of a bouncer there. Could have been terrible news for Nongshim Red Force. Difficult location for Falcons play from though. As we head up towards Regnum Kaya as well as E-Arena, it's just a bit of a hill, right? It's pretty sheer, and again, if we keep circling in on this location, it's going to be downhill battles for some of these teams, and more often than not, an uphill battle for quite a few of them.
Yeah, you would be firmly on struggle street. This fight continuing here as well. Issue is for Nongshim in the back line. You're going to get closer and closer towards the Falcons. You're going to have bullets coming in from either side, feeling uncomfortable with the split as well, down to just 2 players off the back of this. Some nice nade work from Squash. He's been quite consistent, I'll give him that as well. It's been nice to see what Squash has been bringing to the roster.
He's fitted quite well, you know, like a glove. It's nice to see for Alpha 7 they can just get on board with him. They're right though, they do have to try something different because it's not working. You could, this is very different for Alpha 7, I would say. It's a much more passive playstyle than we usually see over on Sandhawk. They took their time to head over towards this position. The circle does afford them that time though, over on this southern bridge, and I do wonder how they're going to play this one out. Luckily for them, Falcons are losing a player. You've got Nongshim Red Force down to 2. So there is a route in for Alpha 7.
Regnum Kaya as well. It feels like it's so unfortunate with the setup there of how that initial fight went. Then ever since, right, you've been trapped. Silas just having to keep himself in cover with the vehicle behind. Knows there's teams around him.
The crazy thing to me is that E-Arena's not cleared them.
No.
Because I get that Silence could take shots. I mean, if I'm E-Arena right now, I'm looking to clear Regnum Kaya as this circle starts to push in. A lot of these teams on the northeast side are worrying about one another as opposed to E-Arena and Regnum Kaya. You don't want them sat in this location. It's such a strong spot as well, considering like the surrounding area of it, where it's quite difficult to push over to that location. There's a little bit of cover in terms of trees as well as the rocks. But you have prime location. And so do Falcons. Falcons have managed to pull this back from what was a bit of a shaky start, in my opinion. I feel like they could have had this a lot sooner.
They had the reposition from Ragnar as well.
उसके बाद भी वो लोग ने होल्ड किया कितना पेशेंटली एंगल इन्फो निकाली
Not
क्या
bad
नॉलेज
considering
है
they
भाई
found
तुम लोग
themselves 6
जीरो नॉलेज
eliminations, but obviously
जो
going
भी
to want to try
कैंपर
and steal away more. So much line of sight to play with. Really just tucked in now. Vehicle gets hit with a barrage of bullets from the bridge there. Carrillo being able to get vision onto him, so he's just got to tuck in.
I think he shot his own tyre out.
I think he has, yeah.
Accidentally.
Danger close, danger
ideal.
close.
Yeah, not ideal.
I guess this is at least taking the attention off Binny. Obviously, he tucked in underneath the bridge a while ago and Nongchin had to back off.
Check it. At least check it. He should know there's another team around here. He clears one. He knows there's at least 2 players up for Nongchin Red Force. Clear the bridge, please.
This is actually spotted as well. Late on the rotate. Man, he could be problematic.
For Alpha 7, they've got a fantastic spot to play out this game, at least get a top 4, right? You don't clear bridge, you lose a player to bridge, that hampers your chances. In the meantime, Yangon Galacticos have been pushing in from the blue, right? Now they're up against Influence Rage, and Myrna sends a wild spray in over towards Diego, who luckily gets the shot around the side.
Vision obscured, but the bullets are on target. For Diego, though, response back up close, and it's all gone wrong.
Lay on the bandage. I mean, to be fair, I'm saying that, but in the moment, that's a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
You gotta be quick thinking. So, I can't be too upset with that one. I think the fact that Yangon Galacticos gets as far as they do is already fairly impressive. Horror Esports moving across from that northeast side. They do clean up Kino Trope, with Scarface actually finding those shots from Fireflux. Always on the long range, that guy, as we go in towards our next circle. That's brutal. That is brutal. Almost no reason to be on the south side of the circle. Yeah. And Revo goes down. Was that to Tizzy or Binny?
Tizzy. Yeah, Tizzy from the coastline.
It is sloppy.
Yeah.
It is sloppy.
I think the thing is, yeah, okay, they finally got vision onto it. That's the scary bit, because then obviously you turn your head on a swivel, you're expecting back towards the coastal side. Binny might have been able to cause some issues, both dive in towards the water.
Oh, mate.
This is getting messy.
Squash is looking around the side. There is a team coming through. That is a nice angle. Well played, Squash. Ignore that. Fireflux over towards the east. Right now, they just need to clear a lot of these teams on their eastern side, but they lose 1 in Solus, which is not good. They have a lot more teams to deal with, and they need a large roster to make that happen. Desperately needs to get him back up on his feet. Binny will go down eventually. Regnum Kaya actually winning on the north side.
Squash finally being able to finish that one off onto Binny as well. And you're right. It's not ideal whatsoever for an intense game. Bullets back over onto it. Meanwhile, we lose the last representative from Horror Esports as well.
It's 2 guys.
Wow.
Push them.
Yeah, go for something confident here, surely. Play off one another. I mean, Silas has just been tucked in this exact boss for like a good, 5-10 minutes? Effectively uncontested. The nade back.
This is wild. This is wild. One on the left-hand side will go down. Toshbik needs to be quick on the trigger, though. If he wants to get Silas back up, one goes down on the back lines. They might just finish this off. Now just Mormon left alive. Toshbik in a 1v1.
Oh, the peek into it. Okay, quick switch to the shotty secondary and able to mop that one up. But that is rough, dude. The fact he's forced it down to the solo, decision to make to go for the pick back up as well, especially with Fireflux further down the hillside. How has he got away with so much mischief? Just 2 of them.
35 seconds. I think he has time to get Sakura back up again, but yeah, messy. Very, very messy. I do think that Arena could just have pushed them slightly earlier there. With nades, take 2 angles. If you're getting shot, just back it up. Falcons, though, fantastic spot. Could have had 4. Alvalo didn't go down. But Alpha 7 do make it to that coastal side, and Tizzy continues to be a problem.
Yeah, the double spray. What? He got the backline angle for a double spray onto Alpha 7.
They know he's here.
They were aware from so long ago. Exposed himself to it. This is brutal, bro. Roll up as well. Falcons potentially realizing now's the time to go in. Koa from the sideline spots them. Exchange on points between either team. We say goodbye to Alpha 7. And Falcons looking to put themselves in a good spot.
I was hoping Falcons just take down Tizzy there. Honestly. Fair play to the Falcons. This has been an odd game all round, let's be honest. I think Falcons could have been quicker over towards that north side. There's a lot of teams like Northwest Island that were cut out in that top 8, who were finding the most success there. Nate goes down over towards Ralph.
My.
Literally eats it, chomps down on it. No big deal.
That's nuts. A Maxim-esque nade right on target, but he barely survives with a sliver of HP. Difference is, obviously, when you look at the battle of attrition, right? Falcons the only squad that have 3 players left alive going into this. Want to play off one another. Rotate over from Fireflux as well. The arena in position to at least get a shot potentially back onto Redox from the side.
Scarface is not... He's a bit of an unknown factor here for these teams because he is incredibly good when it comes to these open sight lines. They also have this ridge to work around. And Fireflux are currently inside the circle. Falcons have to push out into that open ground. E-Arena also need to move, but they're close to the circle, so they can afford to wait slightly. You can see here Koa as well as Ralph edging closer and closer. That's a big Molotov. Very, very nicely placed. That's Ralph going down, and Koa has to play in the smokes, but there's Scarface.
Oh, here he comes. Unloads the magazine, gets a clean connection off Sakura down, sideline back over from Redox, goes both ways. Wave goodbye to E-Arena, leaves us in the final fight with just 2 squads, Fireflux and Falcons.
This is fantastic from Koa, man. He has to immediately start moving up. He knows he can't delay. And I think actually Fireflux won't expect him being this close. Like, that was a stellar decision from him.
Catch. Spotted out from Redox in the back line. Prime nade from Koa, chucked back over, calls it quits on the push back up. 2-2 split. A lot of distance to work with here. Uphill battle, just spots out the head, but it's a quick timing on the peak. Scarface, back over, bullets down, heavy tag.
The only thing is that Redox almost scares him off the position that Koa was going for with the nade. This nade's coming in quick though. Koa sends a nade down, does good damage over towards Ketch, and Scarface is yet to toss the nade just yet. Could air burst over towards him. Koa's taking a 1v1 and Ketch will win it out.
Oh, the Tommy Titan unloads the magazine, shuts down the first. Redox with a big task ahead of him. Quick peek up over the rock face, battling back with the DBS, trying to keep them isolated. Give himself 1v1s. He's got the heal in. Quick peek back around, trying to see if he can bait them on the face. If they give him an opportunity, he could snatch it up close, but Scarface handles it, and they will snatch that one away.
It's a dangerous proposition. Scarface will be letting some scars into the battleground there from long range. Give him a sight line, give him an opening, giving him an open field, that it's hard to deal with him. For the Falcons though, again, cannot give enough praise over towards Koa. He is just making some big movements. I really do think if Redox doesn't take those shots there, potentially that nade goes through. It's a little bit of a miscom, potentially. It might be a case he has to take those shots to keep himself alive, but yeah, frustrating. Definitely frustrating stuff there.
It just felt like the pace, very slow burn on that one as well. You can see they're not over-egging it. I don't know if that's going to be a problematic issue though as well, but there just isn't that much level of instant engages, the quick confidence, the plays you'd expect them to make. A little bit more timid, they walk away with second place. Fireflux take that one to kick off the survival stage. We'll bring you more action in a few minutes' time.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crowd a new load of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
A region notorious for excellence and inflatables, apparently, here for the Esports World Cup. And we have got ourselves a victory for Fireflux. Impressive stuff from them coming in on Sandhawk and being able to get the dub. Joining me, Seven, as well as Maxman. Fireflux, man, I mean, they were able to win things out on the eastern side. It was looking a little bit tricky there, Max, but they did make it work.
I like Fireflux, man. A rename is happening. Fireflux, man. No, playing Trifecta. There was a lot of teams. I think there was Kinotrope, Influence Rage. There was also At One Point Horror. We don't want to get involved in that mess over there. We'll just wait into the deeper side of Trifecta, wait for all the teams to fight and eliminate each other, and then we transition, claim the high ground to go for the win. It was a clean, executed chicken dinner. I do think other teams maybe showed more potential, but we finally get a Turkish chicken dinner instead of Regnum Kara, which is kind of impressive.
I mean, for a team that has a lot of experienced players, this is something you and I were talking about, Max, coming into today, is that we were kind of expecting Fireflux to be a bit of a dark horse today, right? The experience is there. They just haven't really been executing a plan. So for them to get a chicken dinner here, it kind of sends a bit of a red flag to all the other teams that they are here to win it and make it to the grand finals.
I mean, because if you tell me how do Fireflux tend to play, passive does not come to mind, okay? Their team, they see you, they chase you down, they get the 4 points. Here, they were just playing very slow, which that shows growth for me, that they might be able to make in the top 8.
I think something that was cool about their approach towards those final circles is they were hedging their bets. We were talking about how the coastline can be very strong in these kinds of circles, but also you have Scarface North trying to position as if he could potentially take the high ground. Once the circle shifts come in here, Seven, they're like, okay, we can take this high ground, we can leverage this against our opponents, and I think it was really good for them to have options available.
Yeah, and at the end, I mean, you saw them being able to react to Koa once Koa was trying to get an angle on them too. Quick reaction, making sure you eliminate them, and now you turn that into a 2v1. Red Ox was just not going to be able to do much. One team that I did see there towards the bottom of the leaderboard, and I kind of have to call them out, it's going to be AXTMG. Once again, with this hot drop on Non-Shim Red Force, you can tell Non-Shim Red Force does not like that. I mean, they're wondering if it's going to be happening tomorrow. Now, the reason why I bring this team up is because for AXTMG, Sandhawk is usually their best map. Now it's time to put up or shut up for that team and make sure they get points going into Erangel.
It's not BMPS, you know, you don't have as many Sandhawks
Exactly.
as they have over there. And why do you want to start your best map with a hot drop? Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. You can be good at the map. A hot drop is just pretty much 50-50, and even if you do win it, you might lose players, and you don't have a chance of winning the game.
Especially since there's other options than Ruins down there that nobody's at. So you could take the same rotation paths as well, in theory.
Yeah, I could see why they did it, especially because remember, they won that first hot drop back in group stage, and then it kind of forced them out. So they're feeling themselves, they're feeling confident.
Yeah.
They think they're going to do it again, but that was not the case. I'm hoping that one of these two teams is going to be giving up. And if it's any team, I would highly suggest for AXTMG to just step away.
You're talking about AXTMG, R8, Yangon Galacticos.
Yes.
That was happening in Paradise Resort. I thought it was completely resolved after the group stage, right? We know where all these teams drop. So you know these compounds, these cities are overtaken. Why is it happening again when you only have, again, 12 games? You need to make every game count, so this is going to hurt them really, really badly here for the survival stage.
Very small sample size of 12 games. And if 2 games on a Sandhawk are going to be aggressive starts and things like that, I would argue in a really long-form tournament, Paradise Resort's not that bad a spot to actually challenge for compared to a Ruins, right, Max? But I mean, at the same time, only 2 of them. I would rather you go trash drop near Paradise and not take that for only 2 Sandhawks.
There are so many teams. I mean, it's no Yasnaya. Like, it's not big enough to have 2 teams. If you want to fight for it, fair enough. But you could also just drop around, as you said, go for the trash locations around it and shut down the rotation of that team's trying to exit, because we have this trend of circles going always Northwest Island. It's happening every time. So you just just put yourself between Paradise and Northwest Island. Easy 4 points. Like, it's easy.
We've seen some teams in the past being able to do that and actually succeed with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate... So, for example, because we get so many of those Northwest Islands on Sandhawk here, Max, you don't have Thunder Talk in the lobby. You don't have Alter Ego in the lobby. So I like the adaptation that we see from Intense Games to try and drop up there. I mean, it's obviously a great spot if you can make it work. And we see Circle so commonly up there, but it really didn't materialize for them in this game.
Actually, yeah, of course, Intense Game is the obvious outlier that they took the E-Arena, the Alter Ego spot, of course, going into that. I want to highlight Regnum Karya. They know, oh, wait, that position is going to be free right away. We're going to send it right in the compound next to where typically Alter Ego or Thunder Talk would tend to play. So they snatch it very early on. I do think, unfortunately, E-Arena had a very similar idea and cracked the same compound. Like, you're already here, what's going on? But that did, unfortunately, result in an early elimination of Regnum Karya.
Well, not even early elimination. They fought for so long. It came down to 18 minutes, and then that's when the fight finally ended. And then nobody ended up winning because I think E-Arena ended up with, what was it, just 1 player? And Regnum Karya obviously getting eliminated. So not something that you want to see. Something I do want to mention, though, with Alpha 7, we were seeing them late rotate into the circle. We were wondering if that was going to be happening because of the way that the circle was going to be going. And then on top of that, they were just being able to surprise Nunchim Red Force. You had some players from Nunchim Red Force being able to now move on to the North Island. One thing I was kind of thinking about in my head, I was like, man, they're not clearing. They're not clearing that player towards the bottom, and he's going to be able to get him. I'm not sure, I can't remember at the top of my head if he did end up getting Rebel or not. But then on top of that, they know where TZ was, still on the South Island, and they still go for that push without any cover. It's just crazy mistakes for Alpha 7 to be making.
It felt like them and Fireflux both knew there is someone down there. We can't take the coastline as easily as we would like. You have to clear them out. And then it felt like almost as if Alpha 7 had got a little bit impatient with that push forwards and then being so open on that angle. It's a bit uncharacteristic for me once again of Alpha 7 here, Max.
Yeah, I just want to repeat what Blank said. They know he's there. They knew the entire time he was down there. Like, he was taking shots earlier. It was very surprising that even if you can't get rid of him because he's going to play very sneaky, play behind the ridge, he does not want to get eliminated. But the fact that they just send it on rocks and trees that, like, one off angle can just destroy your entire setup was very surprising. So I think Alpha 7's going to have a bit of a wake-up call after this game that this is survival stage. Games like this, you're not going to get away with a slightly good position. You need to be very, very careful when you take them over.
Yeah, definitely a wake-up call. And the thing is that we usually see a team being able to kind of set up themselves. If you know that there's a player there, send 2 players in the vehicle, but at least have the other player keeping an eye out towards that South Island. That wasn't even the case. They weren't even worried about it. And that's the biggest wow moment for me. It's like, you cannot be making these mistakes, especially in an area that they have won games before in PMSL Americas.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Alpha 7 for a hot minute here. I actually want to highlight Falcons. Like, they knew the value of that underbridge and the coastal area, and they're like, okay, actually, Alpha 7 getting completely destroyed by Tizzy and the off angle over the side of that river. Let's just get an off angle of our own, eliminate them, and then get a very nice entry point into the circle for both Koa and the side, of course, of Red Ox. So I think we've seen a lot more in this one game alone here, 7, of Falcons Falcons than the entirety of the group stage.
And for Falcons, one thing that was a little bit sketchy for me was going to end up being just Rauf maybe overextending too much.
Yeah, I've got to look out for that. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time now to head over to the commentators. Game number 2, we change things up and head to the grassy pastures of Erangel.
Thank you very much, James. Excited for this one, but I think for the teams, Blank, you can see they are erring on the side of caution. We have seen moments of panic, frustration, specifically in the case of R8, and man, some decision-making where it feels like everyone's a bit more timid today. The survival stage and the title that comes with that, you can feel the true force in this arena.
Some of the teams are absolutely at risk, at Kalar risk.
Oh yeah.
Of going over the edge.
That's actually pretty good. I like that. I like that. And I'll tell you what you'll like, our official PUBG Mobile map feed that is now live on YouTube, of course. If you want to follow the games in the same way that me and Blank do when we're in the casting booth and we've got both screens up at the same time, giving you all the info, you can do it. And why wouldn't you?
You could be in the booth at home. We have Booth at Home.
We do.
Now available over on PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. Check that one out because it's going to be all important here, keeping up to date with all the scrappy rotations, the weird and wonderful turns we'll go through on this match of Erangel as it comes at you live here from Riyadh. Very excited to see how this one plays out because you're right. I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring this up. It's just they're stressed.
Yeah.
They're stressed and it's not fun to look at. Teams, the tension is so tight. And I'm feeling like for some of these teams, that string's going to snap and it's going to be explosive. I've got to get back into this. I mean, you see Reboy just rubbing the eyes down. I mean, he is... That last game, I mean, yeah, rub the eyes. Blind. Blind to Binny.
Apparently so, right? It just felt like they knew about those positions. They were aware of what they had to do, but when it came down to decision-making, it just wasn't Alpha 7. It really wasn't. It didn't have that same caliber that we know they can play to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was saying to you, it feels almost like you're watching 4 individuals that are fighting amongst themselves. It's not that sort of team ethic that we saw that took them to that title win last year. And a lot can change in 12 months.
Mafioso was the rock for that team, and now it's kind of Squash who's that player for them. It's weird as well because for Alpha 7, I mean, those 3 players have been together for the longest time. They have some very good grouping and play well off the back of one another. But I think the days are gone now where Revo could kind of just step up to absolutely anybody in the lobby, win with a DBS, just hand down. I think he has to play off the rest of his team and just having those moments where you're like, I'm just going to push up. It doesn't work anymore. Anyway, we banged on a lot about Alpha 7 there. Currently on a split up towards that north side. Let's hope it goes well in this game for them. And instead, let's take a look at Falcons. The last game could be described as some sloppy maneuvers. I think that they could make it through to the top 8 with that kind of play style. They looked a lot more solid over in PMSL EU. And I think they need to get back into things. I think for them, honestly, the pressure is probably less on here in survival stage, and it's pulled back a little bit, you know? That pressure to go straight to main stage, of all the crowd cheering for them, not as much for them here over in the survival stage. But again, it is still Koa who's making a lot of those big movements, a lot of those big decisions, and I'd like to see some more of the team, you know, step up for them, because right now you can't be the only one making those plays, forcing the team into good positions.
Yeah, I think again on that note as well, you could see sort of the high pressure decision making. The comms looked a little bit messy, and in the survival stage, I just don't think you can be allowed that luxury. It's got to be point perfect. The choreography needs to be nailed every time. And if we're ever looking at them where it feels like, oh, you know, it's paralysis by analysis, they're not able to instantly make that heads-up call, I just don't think that embodies how that team needs to play. We'll see, though, obviously. Game 1, right, we'll put it to one side. Let's focus up on the rest of the survival stage today. We're going to our second outing now. We'll see how the land starts to lie. Of course, relatively close grouping for the mid-portions of the teams there. Not gigantic point earners for the most part.
For Fireflux, I bet they're very pleased about the Sandhawk. I think it's been quite a while since we've seen an actual good Fireflux Sandhawk. I think they were always in the conversation towards the end game, but getting themselves a chicken dinner must feel very, very good. You saw them shouting. They were elated by that win. It's a good moment for them. And I think for Fireflux, this is certainly the spark that might start something special for them in the survival stage. for their PMSL EU outing. You know, it was pretty decent, all things considered. Couldn't quite best over towards some other teams, but I think overall it was a very, very good result for them. Sort of came out of nowhere on that last day and just jumped and jumped and jumped. For Regnum Karya, on the other hand, there have been some really good games. I think in their 2 days of play, the group stage, there were some really cool moments for them. What I think happened to Regnum Karya in that group stage is that they had a lot of situations where they could have capitalized, like Alter Ego, but failed to transition very, very late into the game, into something fantastic. And I think if they were able to do that, I think that would have given them the confidence and the momentum to push even further. So I just think for Regnum Karya, we're waiting a little bit. We are playing the waiting game. We can't wait forever.
No, you certainly can't. I think it's interesting as well, because obviously Fireflux had some amazing games. The team that always felt like they could have made similar plays was Regnum Karya. They were always in very similar positions with some of the circles we saw there. But like you say, just didn't quite capitalize on it. And we saw how well that went for Fireflux, right? Suddenly you absolutely blow the way up. They're looking fantastic, racking up those results. And yeah, I mean, again, man, like we're coming into this, they're one of the teams that you would expect to be able to make it out from this portion of survival stage. And I think with the talent, they should be able to bring it. But obviously, you've got to show that in the lobby.
I think you would be disappointed not to see them go through. And it's funny, actually, because the way things actually shape up right now, barring, let's say, E-Arena, which I feel bad saying, I think that's the only team that I'm sort of skeptical about. But if all 8 of these teams made it through to the finals, I think I'd be quite happy with that. Honestly, I think that makes sense. You know, Fireflux all the way down to Regnum Karya in 8th place now, probably would switch out E-Arena with horror. But I am prepared for anyone to make that big, impressive maneuver.
It's early doors, so we'll hold our reservations for now, see how it develops. Oh, AX, okay, up against Alpha 7 up on the hillside. Exchange of nades. Only a few left in the back pockets, couple thrown out. Relatively fragmented as well. It's Devotee that's kind of trapped on an island. Cyrax there, but the Bazon to support. Not the best range.
Yeah, absolutely running low on ammo as well. And I mean, for Alpha 7, they've had to back off because it's danger close on the other side of Regnum Karya pushing up that way. Got intense game playing around Hospital. Typically, Regnum Karya is quite good at playing this position, where they hold a lot of space and just create problems for you. It's very central right now as well, so I don't think many teams are too unhappy with their spot for Alpha 7. They're dropping smokes right now, trying to get away. I think they're happy to just give this corner of Everest over towards AX. They don't want to get caught in the crossfire between 2 teams.
Quite a nice shot from Henry there. Good distance on it. Looked like the Mini 14 getting a tag from the sideline. It's Mafioso. So they are able to back themselves up. Of course, tons of cover to work with on this. She's not going to eat damage from the front line. Mafioso as well can kind of hold Edgard in this, get a bit of a read on where they're going.
Yeah, your only difficulty, right, is you getting pincered a little bit if you're Alpha 7. It takes a lot of coordination to realize where you are. For AX, they're in a slightly worse scenario where there's a lot of sightlines looking up towards that location. You can get pushed easily and then you become the pincered team. Typically, if no one heads up here, Alpha 7 does need to be very careful about this southwest side of Everest. Regnum Karya, that's going to play it slow. Yep, absolutely don't want to be doing that. I think you did see clear that actually go down to scout the building that currently Regnum Karya have held. And it's a good spot. It's a very, very good spot to play, quite open around there. You do have this little ridge side here, which prevents you from taking shots to teams that do situate themselves on this locale, but this is going to provide information back fairly quickly to Korea if Regnum Karya ever want to push.